head coach in short order has been really impressive to watch. Earl Timberlake is one of his stars, the senior with Rafael Pinzon. In the meantime, Fears, Jace Richardson, the young freshman sensation. Really close bond between the Martelli family, Phil Sr. and Phil Jr. and Tom Izzo. We'll get into their story as the night goes on. Basketball serendipity. Junior coaching against his mentor on the biggest stage, Tom Izzo, in March Madness. Incredible.
It's always interesting to see how a team like Bryant will match up and also last for the first 4 minutes. What's their mental approach going to be?
Jackson Kohler really came into his own this season for the Spartans. Misses a turn. Off the floor comes Barry Evans. Gets it back. And Bryant gets the first points of the night. Evans, the junior out of Baltimore, the St. Bonaventure transfer.
Just averaging a little under 14 points a game. And that's what you want to see with Bryant. You want them to come out, be comfortable on the floor, execute as well as they can, knowing that they're going up against a big-time heavyweight this year in the tournament.
This is Richardson, what a season he put together. First thing you notice when you see Bryant in person is their length. Jim, they got really good size.
And they rebound well. A nice little post-up move down there by Timberlake to get things going on a second trip.
Player of the year in the America East this season, and he was all defensive as well. A terrific two-way player for the Bulldogs. This is Shimon Zapawa. Fears left open. So the Spartans come up empty on their first two trips. Bryant Bulldogs, 23 wins. They dominated the America East this season. Does it translate here against Goliath? Evans misses a little bunny. And the rebound by Akins. Spartans really good in the fast break, Jim.
And this guy right there, Richardson, missing badly, but gonna go the other way.
So Michigan State has missed its first 4 shots and still looking for their first points. Couple of minutes gone by. Little tournament summary. Colorful names having some early tournament success. Close calls here in Cleveland. We have been treated to 3 sensational games. And now all eyes on Bryant and Michigan State.
Teams with the colors are doing well now all of a sudden. It's like we're at the racetrack.
Jim, if you're the Bulldogs, what are you thinking about early in this game as you try to feel your way against this superpower Michigan State?
I don't think you're thinking that they're Michigan State. I think you're thinking, what should we do? He's throwing that at the basket because there's 1 second left.
Here they come. Wow, they turn back.
Whoa, who got him there?
Officials say foul, and this crowd, the Bryant fans, can't believe it. Earl Timberlake, all defensive selection in the America East this season. One of the premier shot blockers in that league.
The only thing I could pick out on that was that he hit him across the waist or the lower part of the chest. But other than that, everything was pretty clean to my eye.
So here's Jaden Akins at the free throw line, one of Tom Izzo's seniors. Michigan kid out of Farmington. 3rd team All Big Ten selection this season. He's the only 4-year player on this current Spartans team. And they're still looking for a point. Tom Izzo's team last year, 9th seed in the West, beat Mississippi State in the opener and then lost to North Carolina, Jim, in the round of 32.
And Tom Izzo looks concerned, but he won't frazzle, though. One of the best in the business.
So Akins, 78% free throw shooter, gets the Spartans their first point.
Michigan State straight up with their man-to-man pretty much all the time. Nice kick out.
Here's Pinzon, their leading scorer. Soft touch Offensive rebound, Mitchell. And the rip by Zapawa.
He was going against 1 versus 2.5 Michigan State players.
Akins dials it up from deep.
He's been so different when he's been stroking the ball well from the outside. Michigan State always seems to get a lift when he's shooting the basketball well.
It's really the one weakness for the Spartans, their three-point shooting. If they can hit those shots, they're just a different team. Underneath, it's Timberlake. Boy, that's a tough turnaround fade off that left baseline.
Yeah, almost a reverse twist just then to get that off.
Averaged 15.5 points per game this season. Here comes Akins in a crowd. Offensive rebounds of Zapawa, and then it was ripped away by Evans.
Brought the ball down to Evans' waist almost.
Evans against Kohler, working on the box, comes across, short. So Bryant, 3 of their first 6 from the field. And at this end, Michigan State 1 for 6.
You're right about their length, too. And they're showing a little bit of it early on.
Kohler, nicely done. The polish in his low post game, really impressive.
Yeah, the key thing with him is he positions himself well before the ball is thrown to him. And then once he gets it, his footwork is extraordinary.
Bryant works it quickly down low. They get it back to Timberlake.
Here comes the break. They love to run it.
Fears to the rack, where they put so much pressure on you in the transition game. Michigan State and Bryant. The Bulldogs coming to Cleveland with big dreams. They got the early lead.
Welcome back to Cleveland. I'm John Rothstein. Bryant leads Michigan State 7-6. Well, the 2 head coaches in this game tonight, Michigan State's Tom Izzo and Bryant's Phil Martelli Jr., have an interesting and unique relationship. In fact, they're very friendly. Last week, prior to the end of the America East Conference Tournament, Izzo called Martelli and wished him luck. Also, the genesis of this, when Michigan had Phil Martelli Sr. on its staff, Phil Martelli and Tom Izzo obviously increased their relationship as great friends. And obviously now Tom Izzo, like he does throughout college basketball, looking out for Phil Martelli Jr. as a younger coach on the rise, guys.
The junior called Izzo a mentor, called him after he got the job last year, and a relationship that goes back long, long time.
And I took a lip reading course once, you know, and I think Phil Martelli Jr. was saying, I'm going to try to go easy on you tonight, Tom, so don't worry too much.
43-year-old head coach in his 2nd season at the school, coach of the year in the America East. Led the Bulldogs to the regular season and tournament titles in just their 3rd year in the league. What a job. Pinzone backdoor underneath, the laying up, and no good from Ja'Kai Robinson.
That's where the size factors in also from the Michigan State standpoint.
Carson Cooper has checked into the game, as has Cohen Carr now for Michigan State.
And if Carr gets an opportunity to go upstairs, you're going to see somebody with a different level of upstairs with his leaping ability.
Also Trey Holloman. That was one of the lineup changes that Tom Izzo made this year. Really works as Akins misfires top of the key, fight for it, and Bryant controls the glass. And so far, Jim, they're holding their own on the backboard. 6-6 rebounding margin. And the officials say last touched by Michigan State. There's Phil Martelli Sr. More than 20 years after he took his St. Joseph's team to that crazy run to the Elite Eight. His son was so proud of getting his first taste of the big dance.
I had a chance to speak with him yesterday at the practice that he showed up at. He was just ecstatic about what was going on and a little nervous for his son, I'm sure, too.
Pinzone. Offensive rebound. Nicely done by Robinson. Here's Pinzone. Again, he averages better than 18 per game. Their #1 scorer. Timberlake. Here he comes. Way too much. Rebound Richardson.
Yeah, that running hook is more effective when you're not running out of that lane as much.
Holloman. Michigan State. 3-point lead. Holloman really settling into that role, coming off the bench. Pinzon, that's a tough corner three. And Bryant now is 3 of 12 from the field.
Contested very well by Richardson out there, getting the hand up. And keep him away from the blocks.
Cooper stumbling.
Yep.
That's a turnover. And that is Michigan State's first giveaway of the night. Get complete coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Tournament at ncaa.com. This place packed to capacity downtown Cleveland as Tom Izzo and his Spartans begin what they hope is going to be a deep run through March. Legendary Hall of Fame coach, 25 years removed from that national championship, 7 Final Fours. Just amazing. Didn't have any real stars on this team, but overcame some of that early adversity, and here they are as a 2 seed.
Yeah, and that's going to play to their benefit too, because they spread the minutes around a lot.
Withers on a 3-point jack.
So when Bryant comes down and they just take their time in their sets, they've had a little bit more success than trying to force the action.
Badly needed basket there. Cohen Carr, mid-range J.
He just continues to get it done off the bench. One of the best in the country at producing points for Michigan State.
Michigan State's bench, as Pinzon misses badly. Michigan State's bench 7th in Division I in bench scoring, and Carr was right at the top of that list. This is Fiddler. A little bit too much on his first offering of the night. The senior transfer from Omaha.
Pretty well defended outside, switching everything on the perimeter this trip down.
Here comes Pinzon, and finally has his first point of the night.
Turn around, because they're coming at you.
Cooper takes a little bit of a shove. They're going to get Kayvon Kramer from the back. That's a good hard foul. Every dunk, every three, every upset. Fan work is thirsty work. Stay refreshed with Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever?
Unless you've seen Michigan State play in person, you don't really recognize how fast they go up and down the floor, especially after a made field goal. They just turn on the jets and off they go. They hit the wings as well as anybody. They run the side of the court to give themselves angles for either 3-point shots or the drive to the basket.
Officials trying to get him sorted out here. Again, the Spartans' 4th most fast break points of any team in Division I in the country. Such a big part of who they've become this season. Holloman elevates. Back of the rim. Offensive rebound. Kohler. Traveling violation.
Yeah, actually, Kohler was the only guy who timed that rebound correctly. Everybody else, for some reason, jumped in the air. Great shot at Tom Izzo and the intensity to keep the pressure on his players.
So Fears giving it away, only the 2nd Michigan State turnover. As we cross the 12-minute mark. Timberlake fading. Tough shot. And they're going over the back here. It looked like it was Mitchell. That'll be the 4th team foul against the Bulldogs. And everyone's going to catch their breath. All tied here in Cleveland as we play middle stages in this first half. Bulldogs showing they belong.
All right, tie game here in Cleveland. Tom, how do you start getting some easy baskets on the break?
Well, we're running pretty good, but we're not guarding very good right now. We gave up a couple of threes, and I don't think they're a very good offensive rebounding team. They're playing hard. We got to settle down a little bit. Our bigs early were a little bit whatever, but we got to settle down and play a little better.
Appreciate it.
It always comes back to Tom Izzo's defense. You see what they did this season. Top of the charts in all the major categories in the Big Ten.
And the big guys are playing whatever. That's a seasoned coach, knowing that he's on television.
We always enjoy our time with the Hall of Famer.
Fabulous.
Had a couple of weeks ago in East Lansing, just enjoying himself as much as he ever has. All the challenges of the sport, changing landscape. Just consider the change that he has observed over his 30 years.
And a grandfather also.
Indeed.
And a zone for Bryant.
Jeremy Fear is going to swing it near side, so a changing defensive look here that they're looking at from the Bulldogs. 6 to shoot. Carr, boy, pretty spin into the drop step.
And exactly what you want to do. Nice adjustment. It took them a few extra seconds to figure out that zone right there, but getting it right to that elbow made a whole lot of sense to deliver.
Well, you saw Bryant shooting slump after that really strong start. Put back attempt from Mitchell too much. Timberlake, and they're going to get Holloman here on a reach-in.
Tom Izzo was right on the money, too. Good offensive rebounding team. Right to the middle of the floor, a little fake. Go back to your strength and finish it off. He's a lefty.
It's crazy. Jim Bryant is 5 of 18 shooting, yet you look up, it's a 2-point game. Big part of that has been their rebounding. One of the best rebounding teams in the country. They have not turned it over either. Pinzone.
He's got to get on track for this team to have a real good chance of putting something together. Uh-oh, watch out. Whoa, 2 of them.
Carr, one of the great leapers in the sport. Errant pass. 3rd Michigan State turnover. Get more sports coverage than ever before in the Bleacher Report app. Be sure to download the all-new Bleacher Report app today. Nightfall here in Cleveland. Michigan State and Bryant in our 2:15 matchup. Blocking foul with Evans trying to take it to the cup.
Tom Izzo was up in a hurry on that one. You ever established a good I don't know, that's, you know, it's kind of, they get him nowadays. Yeah, he's on the side, he's not squared up exactly where you have to be, and I know a lot of people think that should be a charge, but he really has to get an established defensive position in front of him unless that offensive player throws an elbow or a shoulder in his direction or a forearm.
Come up on the midway point of this first half. Can the Bulldogs get their offense recalibrated? Evans.
Good help by Kohler here.
Boy, what a power move on the baseline. It looked like Fears had sealed him, and Evans just too much.
And Evans at the same time recognized that Kohler was coming over for the double team, and he went baseline. So here we are with that zone look again. Middle of the floor is where you want to try to get somebody some action, but get somebody in there who can make decisions with the ball.
So Bryant sticking in their zone defense. Here comes Fears. He takes a whack. And more free throws coming up for the Spartans.
So here you look, to watch at the last part of this when he gets stuck here. All of a sudden you get a double team that way, and what does he do? He spins right away from it. This was this is a strong drive. Must have got him just halfway up in his lift because he was shocked as a player. I think that was the second one too on Mitchell.
So Jeremy Fears, young man who has overcome so much, the redshirt freshman. Remember, he suffered this crazy injury, the gunshot wound in that incident in his leg. Innocent bystander. Cost him 12 games as a true freshman. Was the #1 high school recruit out of the state of Illinois, out of Joliet West High School. 3rd most assists ever by a freshman in program history. Very quickly putting it all together.
Yep, sure is. And one of the things that Bryant is putting together is they've had 16 possessions without a turnover against Michigan State with under 10 minutes to go. Pretty good.
Evans backing down underneath. Pretty spin. It's Kramer.
And how about the timing of that cut? Again, recognizing a double team coming towards a teammate and filling the middle of the floor. Well done by Bryant. Not in a hurry to go anywhere.
Kohler overplayed. Kramer on his back. Kohler. Kramer gets him.
Almost said you can't let him get it that close, but these guys know what they're doing defensively. Wow, long range here.
End zone. And now the Bulldogs throwing a haymaker.
Guy who was struggling to get his game started here scoring-wise. Lets one rip from long range. Nice play from behind there, too.
Fiddler on the interior, left it short.
I think that was Timberlake who may have gotten a piece from behind. Oh boy, they shoot it way out. out.
Jimmy, you call that the old heat check. Withers. As we cross the 9-minute mark, here's Richardson, who's been really quiet. The freshman taking contact. Boy, he took a shot.
Yeah, he sure did. I think they forgot that he was a lefty, too, coming in. Sometimes you instinctively will jump to your right to defend. Let's see if he jumps this way a little bit. He's on the right side of his body thinking he's going to close that shot down, but he's a lefty. Watch him just shift it to his left hand and finish it off. Those lefties always have a little edge in my book.
Jace Richardson, the freshman from Denver, became a starter over the final 11 games of the season, and he just completely took off. 17 points on 50% shooting during those 11 starts.
Yeah, he just kind of made it very difficult for Tom Izzo not to give him extra minutes.
If they make a deep run, he's going to be a big piece of the puzzle. What a dime. Pinzon. Kramer coming in with bad intentions. Last touch by Michigan State, and Tom Izzo about to blow a gasket. I think he's got a pretty good argument.
Yeah, that ball gets hit right there, but then he tries to finish it off with the dunk. I agree with you and Tom. Not that that matters.
So can Bryant capitalize here? This is Timberlake, sizes up Carr, off balance.
Yeah, the interesting part, you touched on it too, that's a needless foul in the backcourt there. They have length, Bryant does. They also get off the floor collectively. These guys pretty much across the board can really get up to get their hands on the ball in the offensive glass.
That's going to put Michigan State in the bonus 1-1 situation, and it's also the third against Kramer. One of the more important reserves for Phil Martelli Jr. So 8:13 left to play in this first half.
You can just tell by Phil's body language that not in love with a few of the calls so far tonight.
8th free throw of the night for Michigan State. Bryant, by the way, has yet to take a free throw. Up the floor is Evans.
Yet to turn it over also.
Pinzon.
He just keeps going further out.
Tracked down by Cooper as we cross the 8-minute mark.
I think you want to touch the paint a little bit if you're Michigan State with that bonus to get to the free throw line. This guy will figure it out.
Richardson too much on the floater. Fight for it. Look at Carr.
That's not fair.
Withers got a piece. Don't have numbers. Heady play to pull it out.
Real good decision by Withers.
Underneath. Timberlake a couple of wild misses and now a loose ball foul. But it looked like Timberlake took a shot and he's still down.
Out on the floor.
And he may be bleeding. All right, a good one going on here in Cleveland. How does your team have a 2-point lead?
Well, we're being tough. You know, we knew this was the toughest game. We're going to have to rebound the ball. We've done that. We've gotten them to take the shots we want, and we've been able to clean up their misses.
Where does your team get its confidence from?
From the work. These guys work as hard as any group I've ever been around, and they deserve to be here. And because of the work they put in, they have a swagger about them and confidence about them, and that will never go away.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, son.
All right, the officials did go to the replay monitor with Earl Timberlake taking a shot, bleeding from his forehead. Common foul on Carson Cooper. Jim, what did they tell you?
And that's just going to be all it is. There's no, they were looking to see if anything, you know, when you see blood like that, you have to go to the monitor almost, I'm not an official, but automatically to see what happened.
All right, let's bring in Gene's territory. Gene, did you agree?
Yeah, I do agree, Spiro. The ball is loose and there's a lot of arms flailing. And after listening to Ray Natili, as Jimmy said, they stayed calm and foul. A lot of arms, a lot of elbows. Unfortunate that you have an act like this. It causes that kind of a cut. But Jimmy's right. With blood like that, you've got to look. I just thought it was a common foul as well.
Yeah, and they'll go back and tend to him, and hopefully he's okay. from time to time you do get cut on the head like that. One thing that's pretty obvious, so you bleed pretty quickly, but hopefully they can tend to him, and my guess is he's going to be back. He's a tough player.
Ball boys trying to tend to all the blood spots on the floor. There was a lot of blood streaming from Timberlake's forehead as they try to get him stitched up quickly in that locker room. And if you're just hopping on with us, the 15 seed in the South region, the Bryant Bulldogs, champions out of the America East, are proving that they belong, at least for the moment. A team that has gone 17-2 since the 1st of January, dominated their league. And they are not showing any signs of intimidation, Jim, so far.
No, with that interview with Phil Martelli Jr., he just said these guys really work, which they have done all season long, but they're tough in their rebounding. When you look at these rebounding numbers, they have 16. Michigan State has 15, so pretty much a push on the boards, which is a huge win for Bryant.
Winner of this one moves on. They get New Mexico on Sunday in the round of 32. Reset Mitchell. Withers up top, too high with the pass.
If that pass wasn't too high, it would have been perfect. Whoa.
Carr taking flight.
He can really run the floor. And that time he went directly down the middle. That old shortest way between 2 points, just goes straight line down the middle.
So Carr, their best bench scorer, has hit his first 2. And we're tied again. Nice pull-up, mid-range J, pin zone, cash money.
Yeah, that's how shooters get their confidence back a little bit with him. He struggled early on. That little pull-up will get your legs underneath you, get you good rhythm, and they're back into a zone right now, forcing action outside if they can.
Outside, Akins, short on the 3. You like the mixing and matching with their defense?
Oh, absolutely I do. It's taken about 4 or 5 seconds for Michigan State to figure it out coming down the floor.
Pin zone again. Well, he's taking a couple of those really deep threes. Last touch by Bryant. Watch whip-around coverage of all men's games with Fast Break presented by Nissan. Get it in the March Madness Live app. Again, you also consider the fact Michigan State hot and cold as a 3-point team, so why not use the zone and force them, Jimmy, to hit some shots from the perimeter?
Yeah, you just have to watch it if they go inside to the middle of the floor and then down low for a quick hitter.
Here comes Carr. A lot of contact, and he's going to step to the free throw line. Cohen Carr has actually hit his first 3 field goals off the bench, and a chance to tie this game once again for the Spartans.
A lot of times we think you have to get to the middle of the floor from the top, like the top of the key and the 3-point line, but that time they went to the wing first and then to the middle of the floor. So you drag half the defense from one side of the floor, and it opens that middle for an opportunity for a guy like Carr.
Michigan State, 27 wins this season, most that they've had in a season since 2018-19, which was consequently their last Final Four team under Tom Izzo. Different makeup with this team. Regular season champs in the Big Ten. And we are tied again here in Cleveland. Here comes pin zone. Reset Withers. Underneath. Near side. 3-pointer from Evans won't go. And it belongs to Michigan State. So Bryant now, Jim, 3 of 11 from deep.
Yep, and I think going back to your point about Michigan State shooting the basketball, they were the worst 3-point shooting team in the Big Ten at 31% this year. So your strategy and thought is just exactly what Bryant is trying to figure out here. Keep it away from the middle of the floor.
Spartans cough it up again with Fears. They're 4th. We come up on the final 5 minutes of the half. Mitchell's going to launch. That's good. The 15 seed Bulldogs back in front. And good sign for the Bulldogs here. Earl Timberlake back to the scorer's table and out of the locker room.
No surprise from me, as tough as he is.
Cooper right at the rim, no. Gets it back to Holloman. Akins.
Wow.
Cooper skying Sticks it back.
How's that for a tremendous effort along the right side there, reading the play, and that's the quick bounce to go right back up and finish it.
Jace Richardson said he's the best athlete in the history of the program. I don't know that there's ever been someone who can jump higher. What a player he's become. Here's pin zone. Deep baseline, 2, missed it.
4 on 1.5 here.
Here he comes. He has 12 of the Spartans' 25 points.
You know, it's funny when you're coming down the floor and you have 2 guys, 1 on each side of you. If you can quickly see that it's Carr, with all due respect to all the other players, from the point guard there, I'm going to Carr and let him take over with it.
Let's check in with John.
Well, guys, Doug Wojcik on Michigan State staff told me yesterday that Cone Carr was the key guy in this game because against a smaller team like Bryant, he could downshift and play the small ball 4 role. We're seeing early guys why Cone Carr is tailor-made for this matchup.
Clearly knew what he was talking about. What a first half he's put together. He has scored their last 7 points, and he's put the Spartans back in front.
And that was really Michigan State basketball that we just saw, pushing it up the floor.
Timberlake back in. They got him stitched up. Showing his grittiness. Pin zone. Good defense from Fears. 5 to shoot. Withers going to launch.
He was close to banking it almost. It was so long.
Spartans playing with the momentum. And this is going to be a kick from Robinson. Tom Izzo, the Hall of Famer, and his Michigan State crew here in Cleveland. Starting to flex, they're back in front. March Madness descending upon downtown Cleveland. Check of the game summary with inside of 4 minutes left now before halftime. And how about the Bryant Bulldogs? 2-point game, but Michigan State now riding the hot hand of Cohen Carr, Jim, back in front.
Just a terrific effort by him so far, making things happen. He's already got a good night going, and we still have 3.5 minutes left here with his 13 points, a guy who averages 8 points per game.
Again, we're seeing a lot of what makes this Michigan State team go. Not a real star-laden team, but strength in numbers.
Yep, stretch out the minutes.
Excellent bench. Shot clock at 7. Kohler. Timberlake, offensive.
You get a bump or 2, but then you have to, as a defensive player, you have to time it and fall at the same time. There's the first. Pretty much the same bump, wasn't it? But then you time it perfectly as a defender and you go down. You got to get the attention of the officials, and I think that's kind of what Tom Izzo was saying, maybe a little bit of a flop there.
So Timberlake had to leave the game, went into the locker room, got stitched up. He was bleeding profusely from his forehead earlier, not shying away from the contact as he came back in. Pin zone.
They just threw it off the leg of Fears.
Ahead of the field, here comes Fiddler. This will be a goaltend. Again, if you're just hopping on with us, Michigan State, one of the best fast-breaking teams in the country, as Fiddler working quickly.
Ball hits the glass and then it's taken away. It's 2 for Michigan State.
Fiddler again, first year in the program. He's given the Spartans their largest lead now, 7 straight points. Fiddler began the year 7 games as a starter.
Size advantage here.
Evans turns too much.
Here comes the run again.
Aiken sealed off by Pinzone as we come up on the final 2 minutes. There's the Spartans run into the corner. Richardson, that's good. And Sparty's rolling.
It's a real good timeout right now because it's getting a little bit shaky right now for Bryant.
TNT at the half. Boy, the bench scoring in this game, Jim, 18-2. And this guy, Carr, has been the star for Tom Izzo.
He has in a number of ways. Watch the bounce right there. You think you have a chance of maybe deflecting it? Acrobatic coming to the basket. And I just like the way he moves without the basketball, but more importantly, how he runs the floor. He just really was taught. Somebody taught him how to run a fast break, and he knows the angles. Nice cut.
Beautiful lead pass. Evans setting the table for Timberlake.
Look at how fast they come down the floor with the bigs. Kohler right in the middle.
Jim, that's just a gigantic basket for the Bulldogs.
After that timeout, nice set by Phil Martelli Jr.
That ends a 10-0 run for the Spartans, and then Michigan State turns it over, unforced.
Back into the zone. They kind of hesitating again, Michigan State.
Here's Timberlake creating the contact. Michigan State bench irate. It's on Kohler, his second.
I think the bench for Michigan State would probably be arguing that he traveled there before he got hit.
Non-shooting zone underneath out of bounds. Carson Cooper is going to come in. Kohler will sit. 1:40 left before the intermission. We got a 5-point game.
How about Timberlake too, mixing it up?
Unbelievable.
Hitting the gash to the head.
Pin zone fading. So Bryant's #1 scorer so far is 3 of 13. And they're still only down 5 points. Pretty amazing for a 15 seed.
Well, you know why? Because they've only turned it over 2 times too. So that
Fears. Boy, Cooper, or Carr rather, somehow blew the layup.
it just slipped out of his hands. I think he was getting ready to crank one just then.
It's actually his first miss of the night. Down to the final 60 seconds. And Timberlake takes a bump again. And that's going to put the Spartans now over the limit. 1-and-1 situation. This one, it's on Fears. And so Earl Timberlake, who's a 72% free throw shooter, will get a chance at the line on a 1-and-1. See that gauze that they put on his forehead was bleeding heavily from his forehead earlier. Took a hard shot on a play under the basket, had to leave the game, went into the locker room to get stitched up.
And we'll have to tend to that again at halftime.
First free throw that Bryant has attempted tonight. And we're inside of a minute.
And they go back to man-to-man, it looks like right now. There's the help out front.
Shot clock at 7. Richardson looking for a seam.
Pretty well defended.
Tough shot.
Oh my goodness.
Just nasty.
Different level in a lot of ways.
Cohen Carr with his coming out party. 12 seconds, 7-point game. And this match is Michigan State's largest of the night. Timberlake up and under, just beautiful.
Shoot it.
At the horn.
I think that wasn't going to count anyway.
Evans may have been a little split second late, as that is going to get us to halftime here in Cleveland. Michigan State beginning what they hope is going to be a deep run through March, but they are getting everything they can handle right now from the 15-seeded Bulldogs from Bryant. 33-28. Our halftime score. John Rothstein standing by with Cohen Carr.
Going 15-5 in the first half. Why are you in such a rhythm?
I mean, I'm just playing hard. You know, that's what my coach told me to do. Just go out there and play hard and play free and play a game. That's all I'm doing. You know, I'm just trying to make plays for my team.
How do you guys get separation in the second half?
Defensive end, you know, I feel like we got to get stops, we got to get clean rebounds, and then we can get our break going, and that's when we'll make separation.
Thanks. Have a good second half.
Thank you.
Spiro.
All right, John, what a half for Carr, the sophomore out of Stockbridge, Georgia, coming with everything he's got. 5-point halftime lead here in Cleveland. We'll send it AT&T in the half after these messages. You're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. But look, this is not your typical team that would come out of the America East. They got 2 Big East transfers, Jim. You know, all the physicality that they have, and that man is certainly one of those players. Earl Timberlake, transferred from Memphis, had to leave the game, was bleeding profusely. We got the report from John. They got him stitched up quickly. Back in. Big part of the story for this Bryant team that won 23 games this season.
Yeah, for the most part, of the 7 guys that really get a lot of the time, only one's a sophomore. Nice little roll here.
And that is Pinzon, their #1 scorer, who really struggled in the first half. He was only 3 of 13 from the field. So a good early sign for the Bulldogs.
And they go back to their look at the zone.
This is where they had their most offensive success, Bryant, as Carr begins the second half on the floor. Looked like Carr went to go help up Mitchell, but Mitchell didn't want any part of it.
Yeah, and upstairs, Mitchell gets back. 2 guys get back. I guess that's Timberlake also squeezing along Carr. And then trying to jump with him. That's a challenge in itself.
So Mitchell charged for his with his 3rd foul. And Cohen Carr, who was the star of the show for the Spartans in the first half, will step to the free throw line for 2. Watch live men's games on your computer, phone, tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Download today. Michigan State, regular season champs in the Big Ten, 27-6 overall, 17-3 in conference. Only the 4th Big Ten team ever to win the conference despite not having an all-league first-team player. And Pinzon is going to shoot 3 free throws.
Not a good decision defensively just then. I don't think he really had his legs underneath him to get this shot to go in. He just gets landed on. I think that ball was going to be off left just with my eye before he even got hit.
Can't afford to miss any at the stripe. They're 0 of 2, only their 2nd and 3rd free throws of the night.
He's 89% too. So this is where you can steal at least 2 right now.
Rafael Pinzon, born in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
Started his collegiate run at St. John's. Coach Martelli talking about him in our conversation yesterday. He's just called him a super gifted scorer. Thought he'd be the American Player of the Year if not for Timberlake. But boy, he just hasn't been able to get his shot going straight. 1 of 3 at the stripe.
Yeah, he just barely made that last one too.
1-score game as we play inside of a minute gone by in the second half.
Watch the baseline with Kohler too. He's good down there against the zone in particular. Mitchell's guarding him right now. The zone is throwing a little trick at them. They just can't react that well.
Kohler spins, makes it look easy.
Yeah, they spread the floor pretty nicely there, and that was just a delayed isolation to get him the ball from Fears.
Utah native in his junior season. Here comes Timberlake, tripped up, they turned it over. Only their 3rd of the night. Carr, Kohler, sent back by Withers. Off the floor, Pinzon, and the Spartans quickly back.
Little lob action.
Timberlake.
Really held his man off pretty well just then to really give you a target.
Richardson doesn't get the bounce. Kohler, elite rebounder, and then it's Akins from deep.
And how about the release pass by Richardson too? Kohler, Richardson, both doing what they're supposed to do. Get the offensive rebound and then trigger it to Richardson and over to the shooter. Nice work by Michigan State off the offensive glass.
Pinzon hanging, misses on a wild shot. And Rafael Pinzon is now 4 of 15 from the field. Withers got a hand on it. Carr rips it back, gets it to Fears. That's a 3!
Yeah, time to talk things over.
Now the second round of the dance begins tomorrow, noon Eastern on CBS. McNeese What a performance by Will Wade's bunch in their first round win, knocking off Clemson in convincing fashion. They'll take on Purdue, and at 5 p.m. Eastern, TNT has the Nissan NCAA tip-off show. 8 games across CBS, TNT, and TBS over 12 hours. Danger zone here, Jim, for Bryant.
Absolutely.
15 seed down 9 points.
It sure is. This is a big time right here with 17.5 minutes left, though. This is a big set for them just to keep their confidence going a little bit and take some of it away from Michigan State.
Bryant making their second all-time tournament appearance. Mitchell, wild miss, flails at it, and the Spartans control.
Bar factor, too, coming in there on the rebound.
Akins, long rebound fears. Shot clock resets.
Back to that man-to-man now. They started the game in, but they've been switching up with zones.
Fears. Look at Carr on a stick back. Cohen Carr going nuclear.
My goodness, was that ever quick off the floor?
Underneath, this is Mitchell trying to create some space. Misses badly, gets it back. Big basket for the Bulldogs.
John Mitchell.
Well, we've just seen a whole bunch of Carr today, haven't we? Whew. Back to a zone now. They're switching things up a little bit. Nope, they switch it out of it and go back to a man-to-man.
9-point Michigan State lead with 4 minutes gone by in the second half. Cooper, pretty spin, and he puts it down.
Now you're seeing the size, strength, and the depth of Michigan State starting to take over.
Pin zone, can he get his game going? Mid-range jumper, and it's back to single digits. See Pin zone's numbers. One of the top scorers out of the America East this season. Cooper, quick spin, and he's going to shoot free throws. But first we'll get a timeout. Michigan State showing you why they went on that deep run this season. A team that got to 27 wins this season. They're up 9 here in Cleveland. Indeed, Jamie. Jeremiah Fears, his brother Jeremy here with his Spartans. Jeremiah, one of the top freshmen in the SEC this season as Michigan State comes up empty. Bulldogs on the push. Here comes Timberlake turning the corner, and he's heading to the free throw line. Massive play for Bryant. And just like that, a chance to cut it to 6.
And Cooper gets hit here at the end of this play as he goes by. Nice drive in the reverse. That's what they needed, just an answer, just to figure out a way to get some points on the board.
In the history of the tournament, there have been 11-15 seeds that have taken down to 2. The last time it happened 2 years ago when Princeton knocked off Arizona. 5 minutes gone by, second half.
Richardson usually gets involved in the second half a lot. He's with the ball right now.
Holloman probing inside. Carr had his pocket picked. Timberlake.
Boy, Carr hesitated for a split second just then to get his legs underneath them. Enough time for Timberlake to take it away. Watch this mismatch. Can't deliver.
Spartans looking to push. Akins transition 3 misses. Cooper. Akins going to try again. Fight for it. Richardson.
It was a takedown over there on the right side of the floor.
Again, Michigan State, one of the top rebounding teams in the country, flexing their muscle on the glass. Evans walks a tightrope, coming hard. board. A two-handed flush, and it's back to 7.
Now continue to answer the call at their offensive end. We got a little action over here.
It's going to be against the Spartans. Something off the ball.
Is it Richardson over there that's getting called for it?
No, it's on Cooper.
Cooper, okay.
Tom Izzo pleads his case, so it's going to be a Michigan State turnover. Their 8th of the night. Another look at the Evans jam at the other end.
What's going on now? The ball's bouncing around. Substitutions.
So the offensive foul against Carson Cooper off the ball. Tom Izzo trying to get an explanation from his junior. Coaching him up on that Michigan State bench.
A little bit of intensity there, huh? Both ways.
Evans trying to turn the corner against Fiddler, and they're going to get Fiddler here on a bump. Fiddler incredulous.
You can hear how many Michigan State fans are in this building, too. You just keep pushing the action, though. If you keep going towards him and he's moving, that's what you do if you're a guy with the basketball. Just look to create enough contact to get the officials to call it.
Withers. Interesting shot selection there. They had time to set something up.
A little quick on that trigger for sure.
Bryant is now 4 of 14 from 3.
Bit of a mismatch if he's patient.
Kohler nearly stolen by Evans. Fears open.
Up, he hitched on that shot. Pulled it over to his left side.
Or Jim, give Jackson Kohler all the credit, just leaning on that front court. All the pressure that he's putting on them on the glass. Every dunk, every three, every upset. Fan work is thirsty work. Stay refreshed with Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever?
There was a time late in the first half when the rebounding, remember, was a push. Pretty even. It was 16-15 in favor of Bryant. Right now it's 37-21, Michigan State.
Yeah, Bryant right now getting smashed on the glass.
Yeah.
Richardson's going to fire again. Oh, he's starting to cook.
It's his time to take over.
11 points for the freshman sensation, playing in front of his parents here in Cleveland tonight.
Don't take a bad shot right now. Get a good shot. Don't force one.
This is Robinson. Going to reset with Pinzone, their leading scorer. 6 to shoot. Pinzone, contested leaner. One of his toughest of the night. Here comes Fears, body bump. And again, just the way they get down the floor, he's going to shoot free throws.
And how about the trick that Kohler just pulled there, leading the fast break down the middle of the floor. Pretty much took 2 players with him, allowing the drive to the basket. Nice smarts by Kohler.
Foul charge to Kramer is his 4th. And he's going to sit down now with Phil Martelli Jr. giving him a pat on the backside. Looks like Barry Evans is going to check back in quickly. With Jeremy Fears at the free throw line. Let's check in with John.
Well, Spiro, Tom Izzo has told me repeatedly that he feels that Jeremy Fears can really join point guards in Michigan State's past, like Mateen Cleaves and Cassius Winston, over the face of his 4-year career. If he continues on this course, you can see in the second half his ability to lead Michigan State's break. And if obviously Fears stays in East Lansing in the next couple of years and allows the process to grow, he could be a really special point guard for the Spartans.
That's high praise from the Hall of Fame coach. We mentioned that gunshot wound, that crazy thing that he endured, missing his final 12 games as a freshman. All those games that he sat on the bench. He talked about talking to Izzo during the course of games, so much that he learned, helping him to shape what has become one of the most impressive freshmen in the Big Ten this season. Pinzone elevates. Again, looking for some early offense. And it's broken away.
Yep.
Robinson. Here he comes on the attack and lays it in.
Nice play from behind for Robinson. The rebound was taken down by Michigan State, and he swiped it from behind.
Robinson, the Miami transfer in his junior season.
Little size advantage here with Cole. That's why they run a double at him. Wow.
Boy, Kohler, everything but the finish. Pretty spin, couldn't hit. Up the floor, here's Evans. Evans on the spin, underneath Timberlake. Kohler got him.
Well, the size, just too much of a factor.
Up the floor.
Good call.
We're going to get Pinzon on a reach-in foul with 11 and change left in regulation here in Cleveland. Every time Michigan State tries to put a run together, the Bulldogs from Bryant have answered the bell. How much do they have left? Check of the game summary here in Cleveland with 11:22 left to play in regulation. And Michigan State getting everything they want from the 15 seed Bryant. Jace Richardson, a little bit of a quiet start, but Jimmy's putting it together for the Spartans.
Now, he's the one that they will try to ride, and they've been doing a good job of getting him open, and he's been just taking set shots almost. It's been so easy for him for those last two.
One of his 3 threes of the night. As Richardson now, the freshman star, into double digits. Here he comes around a screen. Under control, they reset to Holloman. On the wing, Holloman. A couple of dribbles that take the under control mid-range. Jay Kohler just incredible on the glass. Holloman again.
Pretty good recognition by the guards out front by Michigan State, because they recognized that Holloman's shot was a good one, and that you could tell that he had the rhythm in that missed shot, and they went right back to the well.
Holloman's highlight play of the season, that half-court buzzer beater in the February win at Maryland. One of the craziest shots in years of the sport. Robinson puts it on the deck to spin. Kohler, nice job to keep his feet. No contact.
Yep, and he kept twisting and turning, Robinson did. Couldn't get a good balanced shot off.
Michigan State has matched its largest lead. Fears inside, nearly dropped.
Here's the intent. Put the ball down. I don't think he is going to go to the line, I guess, huh?
Officials say that it was in the act, so Jeremy Fears to the free throw line. 75% on the season. Let's check in with John.
Well, Spiro and Jim, when Trey Holloman scores in double figures this year, Michigan State is 12-1. The only loss during that span was in the Big Ten tournament against Wisconsin. He has 6 points right now after that 3, but this is obviously something to monitor potentially for the Spartans moving forward. Holloman is an X factor when he gets going offensively.
Again, it was that change, John, in their lineup, moving Holloman from the starting 5 to the bench that really catapulted them. A role that he has accepted with flying colors. What a season he's put together for Tom Izzo. This is Pinzon, deep shot, and a giant shot for the Bulldogs.
Even though he has struggled from the field at 7 for 19, we're seeing bits and pieces of him taking big-time shots. He'll be involved also in the last 10 minutes. That is a bump.
Holloman are going to get Pinzon here. That'll be his 3rd. And free throws coming up for Trey Holloman.
Yeah, the speed, the size, and the strength starting to wear down Bryant a little bit, but they're hanging around. Free throw discrepancy now. 2 for 5, Bryant, Phil Martelli's Jr.'s crew, and the other side, this is number 18 for Michigan State. They've made 11 so far.
Tonight, experience the excitement of HGTV's Rock the Block. Block veterans face off against rookies to renovate 4 identical houses post-March Madness action. Phil Martelli Jr., the 43-year-old head coach, 2nd season at Bryant, coach of the year in the conference after leading the Bulldogs to their first America East regular season and tournament titles in just their 3rd year in the league.
And part of what he's dealing with, he knew it was coming at him, the strength, the depth, but it's really the substitutions that will wear down the opponent if you're Michigan State. I mean, every time you look up, Tom Izzo is rifling 1, 2, sometimes 3 guys in at a time to keep everybody fresh. Very unselfish team.
How long can the 15 seed stay close? Pinzone misses badly, and he's now 7 of 20 from the field. Richardson, relentless.
How do you stop him?
The free throw discrepancy, Jim. This is going to be the 20th and 21st free throws for the Spartans. Bryant just 5. And Kayvon Kramer is fouled out. So as Jace gets set to shoot the free throws here, there's his parents. Of course, Jason Richardson, Michigan State legend, part of their national championship team 25 years ago. And Jace's mom, Jackie, who was a former college basketball player herself, University of Colorado at Colorado Springs. And it was actually Jackie who coached Jace as a youth player all the way through the 8th grade, instilled all the basketball fundamentals. And what a proud moment for his parents here tonight in Cleveland.
They've done something right. Just a remarkable player. And you know, can you imagine if he was just a little bit more unselfish, or, you know, selfish, I should say, because he passes the ball a lot. He doesn't really take as many shots as you could probably ask a kid to do with the talent that he has. Only taken 9 shots so far tonight for 13 points.
So that last foul was actually switched to Mitchell. So good news.
You forget how much Carr can get off the floor. You think you have him in a position down low. And watch over here, watch the delay. Here's a little delay, you fake, and you think you then could go up and get it over him. Just too explosive.
So they changed the foul from Kramer and gave it to Timberlake. There's a corner 3 from Pinzone, no. With a rebound snatched. Oh boy, Kramer had an open layup. Here comes Richardson weaving inside, no.
And the offensive glass really stacking up. 15 offensive rebounds.
It's been one of the headline numbers as we move inside of the 9-minute mark. Michigan State trying to build on a 14-point lead. It's Fears. Here comes Evans on the push. Can Bryant get their offense now back on course? Withers. And the Bulldogs now 5 of 18 from distance.
Maybe a little too much distance on a couple of these shots. You try to get back into a game down 14.
Do you have the patience to chip away?
Well, at the 8-minute mark and a little bit, maybe 9-minute mark when they took those 2 shots.
Aiken slithering inside. Smart move to the cup. Freezing the defense with that hesitation shift. And right now it's all Michigan State. They got a 16-point lead here in Cleveland.
Minutes and play many more minutes at other teams, but they seem to really figured it out that they have a mission and possible run to the Final Four in them. And you just think about the rebounding. They've out-rebounded 30 to 33 opponents this year, and they're plus 19 right now.
Kramer trying to will his team back to within striking distance, but they're playing down 14. Akins misses on a 3, and the offensive rebounds now just starting to pile up. 16 of them.
Kohler has 5 offensive rebounds.
Shot clock at 4. Holloman's going to take and hit. Boy, when Michigan State hits the 3 like this, they
forget about it.
Totally different team.
They sure are.
Again, that was their weakness all season. Worst 3-point shooting team in the Big Ten, as Jim mentioned earlier.
9 to 21 tonight.
You think of the history of the tournament, most, if not all, of the teams, Jim, that have made that deep run have been effective as a three-point team to some extent. That was always kind of the knock on this team. Would that hold them back?
But I think when you look at that, you don't want to look at that if you're Michigan State, right? Three-point percentage, 30.8, 325th in the country. But one of the things is they defend so well, and they're rebounding, and they just gut it out all the time.
Three-pointer from Pinzone, no. Withers keeps it alive, and Evans able to get to the loose ball.
And their depth is going to help them get to be able to progress in this tournament this year, I think.
Timberlake coughs it up. Look out! Carr nearly just detonated.
My goodness.
Meantime, at the other end, Withers takes a bump. He's going to shoot a couple of free throws. Boy, even the missed dunks from this guy are entertaining.
Yeah, they sure are.
We have seen dunks from him this year where his head has been above the rim, literally.
One of the few guys in the country who could miss dunks and make the highlight reels.
So 6:20 left to play. Ken Phil Martelli Jr.'s bunch, who was so impressive, one of the probably the best year in their program history. Do they have some more fight left? But they're running out of gas against Goliath. Michigan State's lead is 19.
And you look at the bench over there, Spiro, that everybody's involved because everybody pretty much gets to play, so they're all involved waiting for their turn.
This is Pinzone, Withers, and the officials say loose ball foul against the Spartans.
You put the ball on the floor, and these guards are just so quick, and then it's off to the races for an easy one for Fears. And you know what's interesting? I was watching Tom Izzo on the sideline there. You see at the end of that replay that both of those players were talking to one another, like congratulating one another. He's yelling at them to get back on defense. Not time to celebrate yet, guys.
30 years at the controls of Michigan State. The intensity never stops. Don't miss a Minecraft movie, only in theaters April 4th. Crazy to think no Big Ten team has won the national championship since that Michigan State team in 2000. Soon a couple of teams get close. How far can this Michigan State team go? Here's Holloman. That's a three ball.
As you stated before, they can shoot it like this from three. They are a total different team.
Here's Pinzone. Able to get the backdoor cut and the steal, nearly. As we come up on the final 5 minutes. Boy, Brian, if you just hopped on with us, they really played well in the first half. They had a 5-point lead. They were down only 5 points at halftime. As Tom Izzo showing he still has those good hands.
If he were losing, he'd been a little reticent to give that ball back. Like, whoa.
Excellent soft hands.
Sure was. Getting close to it. Hitting him in the under the chin a little bit. See how they're always jabbing with the ball before they start driving it.
Couple of chances. This is Cooper. They just won't stop.
Nope, they won't. They won't stop until the zeros are on the clock.
Wait, listen to Tom Izzo talk in his interviews at the beginning of the season. His own expectations for this team weren't crazy high. You think of the great teams that he's coached over the years. As Pinzone goes glass, they almost kind of surprised him in what their ceiling has become.
And I think he recognized that he's going to have one problem, getting enough guys playing time. And so he's figured it out on the fly in terms of getting these guys to believe in themselves, sharing the minutes, and convince them that they'll be better players and a better team.
Fiddler stripped, loose ball. Cooper banks it down.
18 offensive rebounds.
It's a crazy number, especially at this juncture. Open three, Mitchell.
Every time Cooper does something, the building reacts. Oh, look at this. They're just relentless on the offensive glass.
Well, Richard Pitino in New Mexico obviously taking their notes.
It's called blocking out is the first note.
What a potential second-round matchup that'll be on Sunday as they await the final buzzer here. Frankie Fiddler. And they're having a good old time here in Cleveland.
Need I say raising the roof?
I see what you did there.
I see what he did there.
Coming with some serious heat. Woo. All right, Jamie, boy, this thing was a close game at halftime. Hard to believe the 15-seed Bryant Bulldogs were down only 5 points at the intermission, but Michigan State showing the country just how good they can be. Here's Timberlake stepping middle, and he's going to shoot a couple of free throws. So it's not going to be the end that Phil Martelli Jr. was hoping for tonight, but just an incredible season for Bryant. This program out of Smithfield, Rhode Island.
And one of the things they witnessed tonight was just the ability, number one, to rebound on the offensive end for Michigan State.
Be prepared for history to be written in the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. NHL on TNT playoff coverage begins April the 19th on TBS, TNT, and Max.
Spiro, I think one of the things, we've spoken about the rebounding, and we should be speaking about the rebounding for Michigan State, but sometimes you forget about their perimeter play on a night like this. But, you know, they got the intent of 5 guys right now in double figures, and the 3 guards really can push the ball like lightning down the floor for their fast breaks.
Tom is going to start to empty his bench a little bit. Xavier Booker has checked into the game. Back door, here comes Richardson. Also, Kurt Tang has come on, a freshman out of Manchester, New Hampshire. 18 appearances this season for Tom Izzo. And a chance for some of his guys at the end of the bench to get their taste of the dance. Final 2 and change left here in Cleveland. Evans underneath Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Michigan State about to win its 28th game of the season. Unbelievable night on the offensive glass. Their bench, as Pinzon misses from deep. By the way, Michigan State's 51 rebounds tonight ties a season high. And all they've done on the offensive glass as well. Well, after all the games are over, Adam Lefkoe, Jay Wright, Candace Parker, and Seth Davis will have all the highlights and analysis on Inside March Madness, presented by Buick. It's coming up later tonight on True TV. Standing ovation for these Spartans. What a performance, Jim, down the stretch, the second half.
Just very, very impressive. They come at you sometimes when you're not ready for them, just sitting here watching them play, and then you see that, well, you think they're going to walk it up the floor once in a while, but they keep pushing it. And then when they get down the floor in their half court, very infrequently did they not have somebody moving without the ball to set things up.
Frankie Fiddler. As both coaches start to empty their bench, Nick Sanders has checked into the game. Actually, the son of former Detroit Lions legend Barry Sanders. And meanwhile, the finality of the moment starting to set in for Bryant, and all the emotions, Jim, that come along with it.
Not a great feeling when you're losing in the NCAA tournament like this. And the guys who are losing, many of them, it's their last game.
Three-pointer that time won't go. There's Norman getting his first chance. Now Sanders. Here he comes. High off glass. And Sanders going to get himself on the box score here in Cleveland.
Still fan participation here, too, with these guys on the floor.
Indeed, three-pointer from Farris. And they're going to get it underneath. As Vasaluzzo, young man out of Boca Raton, Florida, in his freshman season, getting some run here in the closing 30 seconds. Final 24 ticks of the clock as Michigan State is going to win it. And they will take on Richard Pitino and New Mexico on Sunday. Jim, any early thoughts? What do you think?
Well, I know what Tom Izzo's thoughts are, is that number one, he hopes that his team can rebound and shoot the three as well as they did tonight. Dent is a great player for New Mexico, but he's got a bunch of guys running at him. I think Washington for New Mexico could be a key too, to take some of that stress off.
Little floater at the rim that time from Aaron Davis, the sophomore, and that is going to do it. Michigan State's tournament run last year ended in the round of 32. They'll get there again, but how far will this team go? Final score in Cleveland, Michigan State 87 and Bryant 62. As the Spartans moving on to the second round at a date with New Mexico.